Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you tonight. Welcome to my live. It is Sunday night, March 12th. So happy to be here. I am here to answer any questions you have about homeschooling or about education, anything. Hi, guys. Come on in. I just got on. Grab a coffee. Get in your sweatpants. I'm in sweatpants tonight. And my son made me, look at what my son made me. He made me a yummy coffee with tons of whipped cream, and then he drizzled. Hi, come on in, everybody. Hi. Yay, Bathborough and Patch. I'm glad you're here. Yay. So glad. I'm here with another coffee that my son made me, and we don't care that it's drippy like this because what a blessing that he made that. How's my sound on the other platforms? Is my sound okay? I have this mic tonight, so hopefully it helps our sound situation. Welcome. Come on in, everybody. Please start asking. Good. You're working. Good. What do you do? And what is your first name? Because all I see is your handle, and I would love to know your first name. And do you homeschool? And tell me about your kids, because it's just you and me. Well, there's people coming in, but I want to hear about you. Is Sunday a big work night for you, and do you work from home? I'd love to know. I batch cooked today. Come on in, everybody. Come and ask any homeschooling questions that you have.
Brianna's here.
Oh, good. I'm glad Brianna's here. I batch cooked today. I made 5 meals for my family. And man, it feels nice to not have that mental load on me for the next 5 days. It's going to be really nice. Does anyone else batch cook in here? And if not, what did you make for dinner? Okay, so Brianna, 5-year-old, 5th year homeschooling? Oh my goodness. That's so fantastic. You have to email me your website. I'll try to remember it, Burrow and Patch, so I can look at it. Yay! Hi, everybody. Come on in. Ask your homeschooling questions or questions about education. Brianna, how many kids do you have? It's your 5th year homeschooling. Oh, Amanda, that's so sweet. Yes? Is that who you were going to say? Okay. You helped me make the plunge after last year. This is our first year, 3rd NK. How is that going? Amanda, what is your favorite curriculum that you're using? Yeah.
Over on Instagram, we have Michelle or Mihaela Ortega, I think. This is Michelle. I listened to your last live, and I took the leap to enroll my 5-year-old in a homeschool co-op for first.
How wonderful. I'm so glad. Please be encouraged. If you haven't joined my group, you should. If you're just taking the dive into my group, is not for brand new homeschoolers, but this is the time of year where people are making their decisions and they're anxious to have support. So please know that this is what I was put on earth to do. Besides being a wife and mother, it is literally my calling to nurture you, support you, encourage you, teach you how to do this thing, and make sure that you never feel alone again. My community is amazing, very nourishing and supportive. Yes?
Amanda has a great follow-up question, but we're going to just get to beat Kayla first, because Kayla's here.
Hi, Kayla.
What is batch cooking?
Kayla, okay, so I haven't really done it before, but I did it today because I was a little bit desperate because my schedule is going crazy because I'm in the middle of writing this book. And that is not normally part of my work routine. So I've been like, oh my goodness, how am I going to survive until my manuscript is due? So what I did is I made 5 meals today. And they're kind of sitting there. Like, one is a sheet pan dinner where the pork tenderloin is marinating right now. And then I already chopped up the potatoes and the green beans, and those are in salt and pepper and olive oil. So the night that I cook that, all I have to do is throw all that on the sheet pan. But that mental load is gone. And I just did all my grocery shopping yesterday. I get delivery and a pickup. So anyway, because it shaves off so much time when I don't go to the grocery store when I don't have to, especially for the big shops. Yeah.
Ginger over on Instagram asks, how do I join your community?
Hi, Ginger. You just click that button in my link tree, put your email in, and doesn't it give them, like, they can literally hit a join button? right then?
Yep.
Yeah, you can hit a join button, and I would love to have you in there. And if you guys join, if you join from hearing me on one of my lives, please do let me know in the DMs right away, like, oh my goodness, I was on your live. And so then I can remember you. So tonight we are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So I'm so happy to be on all the platforms this evening. Yeah, go ahead. Next question.
Also on Instagram, living intentionally, what is your best advice and tips for unschooling?
One, living intentionally. I love your username. Oh, and that reminds me, if anybody's kids are watching tonight, I would love to say hi to them if you want me to. There was a mom who was on my live a couple weeks ago, and I said hi to her daughter, and it made her night. So if you have any kids who want me to say hi to them tonight, I would love to do that. Just pop their name in there. But that mom, the question on Instagram was deschooling or unschooling?
Unschooling.
Okay. So if you are interested in unschooling, I would read Peter Gray and John Holt, those two authors. If you go to my Amazon page, I have books that you can click on, and you can grab those books. You don't have to buy them on my Amazon affiliate link. You make nothing. I just have that there for convenience, because rather than always having to remember books and tell mom's books, if you literally just visit that page, there's a button that says books for parents, and the books are in there. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Come on in.
Singing Vessel, for him, has a good question over on Instagram.
Okay.
Jump back to TikTok.
We'll get you Singing Vessel on Instagram. We're going to jump to TikTok real quick.
Amanda says we started with Oak Meadow, but
yes,
now that we have a feel, we're doing Matthew C. Explode the Code.
Great.
Pandia Press.
Pandia,
And Curiosity Chronicles, and we're thriving.
That's wonderful. That sounds like a beautiful homeschool. Wonderful. I love it.
That's awesome. Okay. And then back on Singing Vessel.
Grab your coffee. Look, this drip is because my son made this for me, so I am proud to display my drippy. That's chocolate sauce. There's nothing against that.
Quick question. Third-year homeschool mom with 3 kiddos. My eldest is 7 and has completed her second grade ELA curriculum.
Yeah.
Currently doing the good and the beautiful, but would love other suggestions.
For English language arts, for a 7-year-old who just finished second grade, you may want to look at, so I understand that you're probably open to faith-based curriculum because you are coming from the good and the beautiful. I think take a look at Classical Academic Press. And take a look at IEW, Classical Academic Press, and then you can also take a look at what Memoria is doing for third grade, to start third grade. I like how they do their language arts and literature in the younger years. And the beautiful thing about Memoria, also a faith-based curriculum, it's a classical curriculum, is that it's really easy to adapt and shave off. So let me give you an example. This is the type of curriculum I like to buy. I don't lesson plan people. No. Who has time for that? If they're not planning the lessons for me, I'm not buying, okay? So that's what you need to know about me right away. I am a full-time working homeschool mom. So I like curriculum that gives it all to me, but it's easy to pull out what I don't want, don't need, don't want to do. So let me give you an example for literature, for example, with Memoria. And a lot of other curricula options are this way too. But you're reading the literature book, and then there's vocabulary and comprehension questions. But I only make my kids write out a complete sentence for one of them with their best handwriting possible, and the rest we just use as discussion jump-off points. So anyway, take a look at those. I hope that's helpful tonight. And if you guys have any questions about my group, tonight is a great night to join because you can get last month's deliverable, which was a beautiful study on the book Love Is, and you can still get this month's. We're in that limbo week where you can get both of those, which I think pays for the first month or close to it or something. So anyway, tonight is a good night to join. If you've been on the fence on whether or not to join, tonight's the night. Yeah.
Amazing questions over on TikTok.
Okay, we'll get you TikTok. Don't go away.
Michelle Mishinowitz over on Facebook Facebook says, "What up, girl? Been almost a year since our meeting, and Odin is flourishing."
Oh, is she
Ira?
on TikTok or Instagram?
Facebook.
You're on Facebook tonight? I miss you so much. I think about Odin all the time. What does she have to say?
Ira has started preschool and is flying through the good and the beautiful.
Oh, how wonderful. Oh, can you share some more in the comments just about the journey that you've been on? I can't share it. I don't want to give out private information. I think about you guys all the time. I'm so glad you're in my live tonight. I want to cry. This is someone that we did a consultation with last year.
Jamie Elizabeth, daughter who has ADHD and trauma with peers and teachers. She wants to be homeschooled. Any suggestions?
Yes, how old?
Ninth grader.
Ninth grader.
Wait, I'm sorry. No, that's a different one.
Okay.
That's a different one. Yeah.
Great questions, you guys. I'm going to get to all of them that I can. Wait, but first, can I say hi to Odin?
She's 4th grade.
Hi, Odin.
Jamie Elizabeth is 4th grade.
Okay.
Daughter.
Jamie Elizabeth, 4th grade daughter, ADHD,
trauma by peers and teachers, wants to be homeschooled.
Pull her. Girl, pull her out. And if you're scared, join my group. Seriously. We will literally, you join my group and we will we are your mama bears supporting you. And you get in the threads and you say, this is my story. I am brand new. I'm pulling my kid out today. We will literally come around you with hugs and we will walk you through everything.
Yeah. Okay, KK Duncan, great question.
We can also do a consultation, but the group is way cheaper. The consultations are great for very complicated learning profiles. Sometimes we need a consultation. The group is better if your kids don't have super complicated learning profiles, because my help can be ongoing as things pop up. It's not like this big official 4-hour long where I'm reading an IEP, and that is necessary at times. But my group is a different thing and it's more ongoing help. So a lot of people, the group is a really great fit and it's very affordable.
Tasha says, hi, you are amazing and made me believe I can do this.
Tasha,
You're in.
Tasha, where is she? Instagram? TikTok. I love you. You're so sweet. Thank you for that encouragement tonight. You can do this and you can do it better. Mama's here tonight. Not only can you do this, but you can do it better. And it's not that hard to do. You do not have to be a slave to the system. You don't have to be a slave to school schedules. You don't have to be a slave to homework. You don't have to be a slave to working in such an awful system that's not even designed to serve your kid anyway. You don't have to deal with another IEP meeting as long as you live if you don't want to. Okay, sorry. I'm just so excited that these moms are so encouraged tonight.
RCMQ, you have helped so much with my kids as younger, but my 9th grader wants to be a vet, and
yes,
trying to figure out the path.
Yes, colleges are recruiting homeschoolers. Do not think for 1 second that it is a hindrance if you homeschool your high schooler. In fact, it lets you pursue more of those amazing things that makes their application look better. So, absolutely.
Yeah. Over on Instagram, Shannon, my daughter is in her first year of homeschooling our 6-year-old grandson. She's doing great, and we're all so grateful. Thank you for giving her the confidence.
Oh, you're so sweet. Why is everybody so loving tonight? Did you know that I had a bad weekend? I was so sick, you guys. On Friday, I couldn't hold anything down. I was so sick. I could not even get out of bed. And when I looked at a screen, it just made me more nauseous. And so today's the first day where I'm really feeling back to myself, although I couldn't put my contacts in. I needed a little break by the end of the day. I had them in all day, but I needed a little break for my eyes. Okay.
Back over to Michelle on Facebook.
Okay, Michelle.
We're doing the Good and the Beautiful for Math
Yes.
English. I love this curriculum.
Yes.
So well thought out. She says, I give you full permission to tell our story.
Oh, Michelle. Okay, you are so sweet, Michelle. Well, one, I love the shirts that you sent me. She sent me shirts for my birthday, which was so sweet. They're really cool tie-dye shirts. And Odin, they were really on the fence with Odin, if I remember correctly, because he is autistic. And how do you homeschool an autistic kid who's been on an IEP? And he was just really drowning. And so we got together, we made a plan. I read that IEP over 2 or 3 times because I really wanted to make sure that I understood him. And also that I understood how misunderstood he is. So many kids who have complicated learning profiles in our system are just misunderstood, and they don't feel accepted or loved for who they are. They feel like they're an inconvenience to their teachers, and some teachers make them feel that way. But anyway, Michelle, I'm so glad you guys are thriving. That was a really fun consultation for me. That was really encouraging. Yeah.
Tasha says, I need to do a consultation for 2 year in, still struggling a little.
Yeah. I would love to. You can click the link in my bio. Absolutely.
Emma, we're going to get to your question over on TikTok.
Okay.
But first, KK Duncan has been so patient. Can a homeschooler do dual enrollment? And if so, how?
Yes, a homeschooler can do dual enrollment, and it's really easy to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Purple Switch is on here.
Purple Switch, you promised me, girl. You promised me.
And she said, don't you hate daylight savings?
I hate it. But we're redeeming it. We decided as a family, we got up this morning and we were like, you know what? I called it a holiday. It's not a holiday, but I'm like, this is the worst holiday ever. We need to redeem it. We need to make this a fun memory for everybody. And so we're like, that's it. Every daylight savings for spring forward, we're going out to a really nice breakfast. And so we went to our favorite breakfast place, and they even make these really cool, like, fresh juices that like have swirly colors, but they're all natural. Like there's beet juice in them, and then pineapple juice and all this. And we let the kids order those drinks, and we're like, we're taking it back, ladies. We're taking back daylight savings.
Emma, thoughts about social isolation and homeschooling?
Yes, so there is I don't know. That's a great question, Emma. It's a big concern for a lot of people who misunderstand what homeschooling is. A lot of people think we're alone at home in our basements, not seeing other people. The exact opposite is true. So there's a couple things that I want to talk to you about, which are really good to think about. I want you to grab the book, Hold On to Your Kids. It's not even a homeschooling book, but it talks about peer orientation. And it will illuminate a lot of things that will be really helpful for you as you're thinking about. You might be on the fence with homeschooling, and you might have a fear about socialization, which is absolutely normal. You're in good company here, okay? And we are not isolated at all. We are in co-ops. We have play dates. We're in all the sports every other kid is come 3 p.m. on. We are in clubs. We do all the things, cottage schools, drop-off programs, even sometimes charter school drop-off programs. We do it all. If anything, homeschool moms are exhausted from our kids' socialization. And what's really cool is homeschool socialization, by definition of what healthy socialization is way healthier than what happens in the public schools with the age segregation and the bullying, the trauma that happens, sexual harassment. Did you know that 50% of girls that go through our school system will be sexually harassed? Yeah, 50%. So there's something wrong with the socialization that's happening in our system, but yet we think every kid in America needs to be in a crowd of kids all day long for 13 years straight, 5 days a week. It's time we really think critically about that system, because when was the last time you were in a room with 29 other people your exact same age? So why do we think that prepares kids for real life? Because that doesn't prepare kids. An age-segregated classroom does not prepare kids for real life, right? Doing life with a kid helps prepare them for real life. And you can walk them through your everyday struggles, grocery shopping, banking, all of those things, struggles with your own friendships and relationships and all of that. You do that with your kids. So Yes. Okay.
Kayla Pentico says, I want to pull my kids, but can't figure out how do people work and have kids at home and homeschool?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I homeschool 4 kids and I work full time, but I have flexible hours. I know other parents who also work, maybe not they work outside of the home, generally not full time outside of the home, unless there's another person who can homeschool the kids that does have flexible hours. A lot of dual working parents share the homeschooling. So I have a dear friend who works out, she has appointments. She's a therapist, so she has lots of appointments. But her husband has lots of flexible hours. And so they really trade it and she doesn't work every single day of the week. So the days that she doesn't work, and that's kind of what homeschooling, that's the future of homeschooling. That's what it's going to look like as more parents get fed up with the system. They're going to get creative as to how they're going to pull this off. And so many more people are working from home that it's enabling it to happen. In addition to homeschool companies waking up and finally giving us programs that we can implement and work. So we're talking Open and Go, online homeschool academies like True North Homeschool Academy, Scholé Academy, things like that. So Open Tent, there's a lot of them that, there's a really cool high school called Sora that is an interest-led high school. It's fully accredited. So these options are popping up so that we can look at the system and go, no thanks, right? And we can do it now. A lot of us can, not everyone. I don't think everyone can homeschool, and I also don't think everyone should homeschool. That's not what I'm here to say. What I'm here to say is if your heart is tugging at you, you might not be able to figure out how to arrange your schedule tomorrow, but you know what? Every parent that I've known who has been incredibly motivated to homeschool, maybe it took them a year, maybe they had to move to a more affordable state. That's something we did. I'm not saying you have to do that. But what I'm saying is where there is a will, there often is a way. Yeah, not always though. So I still want to have compassion.
M. Allen. I don't know if you're still there, M. Allen.
M. Allen, are you here?
On YouTube.
Okay.
I homeschool my daughter in 3rd grade, and I think she has dyscalculia and hates writing, but she reads on a 6th grade level.
Okay.
Any suggestions?
One, that's incongruent learning is normal for kids who are twice exceptional or have complicated learning profiles. It's one of the reasons why homeschooling is so great, because she can be at a 6th grade level when she needs to be, and then she can be at a lower level when she needs to be. That would never be offered in schools. The one thing we can never do is make kids' brains develop on our schedule. We can't do that. But what we can do is we can be students of our students and learn them and learn how to meet their needs and provide them a beautiful education that is customized for them. Now, what was I feel like I didn't get to her question.
Has dyscalculia.
Yes.
Hates writing. She reads on a 6th grade level.
Okay, yeah. And if she's not tested, you might want to invest in getting her tested. Yeah.
Jamie says there's more socialization outside of school versus in an actual classroom.
Oh, yeah. Kids in school are told to shut up all day long.
Heather says...
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Any suggestion for an accredited program for a 5th grade boy with ADHD and dyslexia?
Okay, so when your child... Yes, so accredited programs, you're going to look at stuff like K-12, Bookshark, things like that. I think Calvert's accredited, right, babe? There's a lot of accredited homeschool programs. But here's the thing you need to know about homeschooling kids who have diverse learning profiles. It's less about the curriculum and it's more about you, the parent, the teacher. So, and that should be freeing for you. So I wouldn't stress over what you're buying or trying to find the perfect curriculum for a kid with your kid's learning profile. I just would go into it knowing that you're going to be adapting everything that you give. And you don't need to have an accredited program either. Even if you want to matriculate him back to the system in a year or two, you still don't have to homeschool with an accredited curriculum. That's discriminatory. you don't have to. Yeah.
Heather follows up with, how do I know I'm covering what he needs?
Yes. So, Heather, it all depends on if you want him on track with the standards. So, if you want your child on track with the standards, then you're more of what we call a traditional homeschooler, and you're going to pick one of those accredited programs or like public school at home programs, which is absolutely fine. There's 8 other homeschooling styles. So, and by the way, kids that are homeschooled in the other styles, they don't score any less on the SAT or the ACT, and they're still getting into their best colleges. It doesn't have to do with what your kids know or don't know or what was covered or not covered. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I was in the system. And yeah, I was a teacher that covered everything I was supposed to cover. After a week, those kids didn't remember what I taught them. Even when I would do like mixed reviews, you can't mix review every little detail. I had to pick the most salient things and the most important things when I would come back and give my kids review. So just because the school system, like, don't think that just because the school system is covering things, one, that the teachers are actually covering it. Because I went through public school myself, and I've never finished a textbook in my entire career in public school, right? And then number 2 is it's a pretty big assumption to think that the kids are retaining what they're learning. It's more of a memorize, regurgitate, then forget. That's kind of what the system really is. So that's why a lot of us are motivated to homeschool, because we want our kids to grow in not just memorization skills, because they forget that stuff, but we want them to really remember and retain what they've learned and be changed by history, for example, not just learn facts about history, be changed by history, to have a fire ignited within them. And so that's why a lot of us homeschoolers are redefining what an education is. It's very exciting. Okay, sorry.
Road schooling homeschooler here wants to go to college in Denmark, but I'm worried about transcript.
I don't know about applying to colleges out of the country. There's no problem with homeschool transcripts here, not at all. But I think you have to look at the Denmark college that he or she is looking at and figure out their requirements, and then work backwards so that your homeschool is fulfilling all of those requirements. Now, the other complication is homeschooling is illegal in some foreign countries. So and I don't know about Denmark, but for example, I could see that if homeschooling is illegal in Denmark, they probably wouldn't recognize a homeschool transcript from the States. So that's a really interesting question. I don't know the answer to that. I would contact HSLDA. Yeah, and Denmark. Yeah.
Joanna says, is sunlight great for high school? Does it prepare for college?
Okay, so here's the thing about preparing for college. I think the number one thing, I don't think curriculum really matters. Okay, so here's what you have to do. So we did a ton of college counseling when we had our center. What you need to do is, as early as possible, you need to try to nail down the type of or genre of career your kid would be going into, okay? I know, it's hard, but like by 9th grade, like, do you have a more liberal arts kid or do you have a more science kid? Like, is this more of a lawyer or more of a doctor or a graphic designer or, right? Okay, so you kind of have to, so then try to narrow it down to like, I don't know, 4 to 6 colleges that would be options, okay? Then what you do is you look at what those colleges require and you work backwards. So you make sure your homeschool transcript, this is what we do in this is what we do in public and private high schools as well. We always work backwards. We make sure that the transcript is meeting the requirements for what the college wants. So when you ask me a question like, does Sunlight prepare my kid for college? Well, it depends what college and what classes you're taking with Sunlight and that type of a thing. Generally speaking, by high school, kids are really pulling from different sources and taking a lot of online classes and labs and stuff like that. So they very well could or they couldn't, depending on your student's goals. And then there was one other thing that I wanted to say about, and then also one of the most important things is to properly do ACT and SAT prep. Don't think for 1 second that those are material tests. Those are critical thinking and logic tests. So we start our kids with test prep in 7th grade in our family. Because by the time our kids take the PSAT, the SAT, the ACT, we just want it to be very easy and normalized. We don't want it to be this big, scary thing. So make sure that you properly prep for those tests. Okay. Moving on.
ECB.
Okay, ECB. Hi.
On TikTok here.
Back to TikTok.
A few questions. What's a definition of a diverse learning program? And then she says
diverse learning profile.
Program.
I don't understand that question.
And then my daughter was homeschooled last year from a private institution and was way too isolated by it. Thoughts on how to make sure socializations are incorporated to ensure a good balance? So I'm not sure if she did it or if it was an institution that did it. She sent her somewhere.
Oh, did you send her somewhere? Or because normally, and ladies, put in here what you guys do for socializing. You're so welcome. Put in here what you guys do for socializing, because there's so many options. And maybe were you sending her to a homeschool small group? And then she was kind of isolated in there. Was it a micro school or a cottage school? Anyway, come back in because I don't want to forget you and I want to answer your questions. And yes, your question's really important because we do want our homeschoolers socialized in a healthy way. Absolutely.
It was a private homeschool that she did from home?
A private homeschool. Was she alone every day?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sarah says, I'm a public school teacher and plan to homeschool my only son. Is it possible to do it effectively?
Being a public school teacher outside of the home, it might be hard. Depends on what support you have. It might be difficult. And you might want to start, and I don't know if you're like an online teacher or if you could start to maybe move into those types of things. Outschool tutoring, I don't know. You could be needing that for the insurance. So, that could be challenging, especially when your kids are really little, because if you're not there, then you absolutely need childcare. So if it's not a spouse or a family member or somebody, then you're going to have to pay for it.
That ECB follows up with, she was a junior last year, and yes, she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Mississippi, where do I begin on teaching my child to read? Like the very first step.
The very first step. I would buy an Orton Gillingham curriculum is where I would start. I wouldn't mess around with anything else. So those would be Logic of English, Rooted in Language, Linda Mood Bell. But that's what I would do. And I would stick with them through those foundational years.
Yep. Okay. And then Jules asked, hey, what's going on in the group this week, Christy?
Hi, Jules. It's good to see you. Okay, so this week we do our really big deliverable drop this week, our supplement. And what's really cool about this week is that what we did is we thought, it's kind of the doldrums of winter. We're kind of ready for spring to start. There's this beautiful book. You probably put in the comments if you've read it. It's called The Bears on Hemlock Mountain. And it is a wonderful piece of literature for all ages. And it is kind of about the snow melting and spring coming. And so we thought, how lovely would it be if moms took a break from their curriculum for 1 week and did this beautiful interest-led multidisciplinary activity guide with your kids. So we have included history, we've included science, art, crafts, all of it. We have included all of it, but math. We just say, add math, right? Because everyone's in their own math programs. So it's like, just do this with your whole family and then math. And just take a breather, connect with each other for a week, and enjoy one another with really cool interest-led learning. We are doing poetry in there, literature, language arts, history, science, Classical music is in there. Pop culture history is even in there. It's incredible. It's the biggest deliverable we've dropped yet in terms of size. So if you have been on the fence about joining my group, you should join before Wednesday. Because if you join before Wednesday, not only will you get February's supplement, but you'll also get this supplement. And so those two together, they make your first month free or close to it or something like that. So it's very exciting. We've just been working on the final touches of the beautiful graphic design. And if you guys don't want to join my group, you can buy it too. It goes up on my store, so you can buy it still.
Jamie Elizabeth says, how do I join the group? Is it on Facebook?
Oh, no, girl. Oh, wait, I'm on Facebook right now. No. Okay, no. We're not on Facebook. No. We're on Mighty. We're on a separate network that's so much better and so much more private. Go to my link tree and click on the button. And then put your email in, and then you'll get all the information. And you'll even, on that, I made sure to even put my bio and my qualifications, because I'm I want people to know that I'm legit at least. And what the whole group is about, it's pretty phenomenal. It's incredible. And it's groundbreaking. Nothing like this has been done in the homeschool space. And it's about darn time. I almost didn't say darn.
The Last Duffer on Instagram. How could you start homeschooling as a supplement when you realize the government school is unable to provide adequate instruction?
Yes.
How would you supplement with homeschool if you're keeping your kid in school?
Yeah, if you're keeping so here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're keeping your child in school, it's pretty draining to homeschool or supplement on top of that. It's pretty hard to do. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of Saturday school. So if it's possible, I would not. But you might need a solution. So I want to help you. I would sign up with a program like CTC Math, because that program is intuitive and it allows you to see the holes. And so you can just teach to the holes with a program like that. It's a lot harder to do that in the subjects of history and science. For reading, if your child is behind in reading comprehension, you can look at programs like Linda Mood Bell. If your child is behind in phonics and decoding, I don't know how old your child is, but you would look into some sort of remediation program. And I think that those are mainly the most important, being able to read fluently and comprehend what you're reading, and then make sure that your math is where it needs to be, because the other subjects would just be really hard to do and take up too much time of your kids' free time. And then, yeah. So I hope that was helpful. That was a great question. Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts on 7-year-old who went back to school for first in January, now struggling with reading, feels so guilty.
Oh, don't feel guilty. Here's the thing is, man, we learn from every decision that we make, whether good or bad. And think of what you wouldn't have known, right? So when I look at a lot of the mistakes that I've made, which there are a lot, I think about, well, what was I able to take away from that experience that I now know forever, right? And here's the big thing is when kids get older, sometimes they start complaining and say, I don't want to homeschool anymore. I want to be put back in public school. Some parents, I know some who have let their kids try public school, which was the best thing for their family, because I have one friend whose kid lasted 2 weeks and hated it and was like, all right, now I know what it's like, right? So sometimes you feel like the grass is greener and it's not. And then now you know, and now you're confident. So please, this is why I made my group too. There's no guilt. There's no guilt or shame, right? My goal is to transform you guys to realize that every single thing that we do with our kids, we're just trying to be better the very next day. And we don't want to live in self-doubt anymore. And so do not have guilt or shame. And then, was there anything that she needed from me tonight, encouragement-wise? Are you going to pull your son out? Or are you going to leave him in for the rest of the year? What are you planning on doing?
Yeah.
You can answer in the comments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we had a bunch of questions and ACT.
Yes.
K Tahiti, how do we properly prepare them for the ACT? What do you do?
Okay.
Ordonez says, how do you prepare them for the SAT, ACT? Where
Yes.
do you start?
Yes.
And Lavery7 says, my college counselor stated SATs and ACTs are starting to be put aside, not
Yes.
required.
So I love these questions. So number one, when you're looking and shopping around for an SAT and ACT program, we did it for 17 years. You need to look for a program that is focusing on the skills and the strategies for the tests themselves, because they are completely different animals. So like, you wouldn't prepare for a history test by studying science. You would not prepare for a literature test by studying math. A lot of people think the SAT and the ACT are content tests, and that if you do well in school, you'll do well on these tests. Well, valedictorians do awful and bomb these tests all the time because they're not trained on how to take the tests. I really like College Prep Genius. Someone can write it in the comments. If you go to her, tell her I sent you. Okay? You have to at least promise me that. Okay? So it's called College Prep Genius, and she does it right, and she's priced well. I have scrutinized that program up and down. It's the one that I like and the one that I endorse, and I'm not even paid to endorse it. Okay? So there's that. And then regarding the SAT and the ACT going away, they're not going away. 85% of colleges are still requiring the SAT or the ACT. But here's the kicker. Even with the colleges who are test optional, you still have to turn in your scores for scholarship money. So kids are still taking those tests and still submitting them to those schools, because you can't get college money and scholarships without them. So I hope that answers all those questions.
A lot of comments on your green nail color.
Oh, St. Patty's Day. Although I already broke a nail. See? Yeah. And I keep staring at it, and then I'm just feeling too lazy to fix it. But yeah, do you like my St. Patty's nails? Yay.
Oh yeah, do you know him? Do you know Jesus, the one who was felt guilty about the reading?
Yes.
I hired a tutor and plan to remain until the end of year. I homeschool him, kinder and most of first. We moved.
Yeah, you know what? Don't feel guilty. Yeah, don't. And if you want to homeschool again, this is your personal invitation. If you decide to ever homeschool again, to come and join my group. Okay, we'll come around you and we'll support you every step of the way.
Lollipops Rainbows. What's a good program for special needs?
There's so many. So she's asking, what is a good program for special needs? Mm-hmm. Okay, there are so many different special needs, right? So without knowing your child or your children at all, this is generally what I have discovered to be a truth. It's less about what curriculum you choose and more about who you are and how you adapt it. So kind of go with a curriculum that feels really good to you, that you agree with the philosophy behind it, and adapt it. I mean, there's companies now like Memoria Press who are hardcore classical, which historically has not been considered to be like super great for special needs. They've come out with a whole program just for kids who have special needs. And so I would call curriculum companies, share your child's learning profile, and ask them what they do and how that you would adapt their curriculum. So it's less about like which one you buy and more about who you are and what you're doing with the curriculum itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kristen Page. My child is rocking homeschool but is requesting to go back to school. I'm super conflicted.
Okay, Kristen Page. How old?
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We have Isri here. Have you seen the clip from the Gospel Coalition who says, what are your thoughts on Christian homeschooling? Other Christians are saying it impacts the school community in a negative way.
How so? Meaning because Christian kids aren't in the schools, or funding wise? There's a lot of stuff that's bandied about regarding when kids aren't in the system, but I want to answer your question. So
Kristen Page says 7 years old.
Okay. So, Kristen, your child is 7. Your child is starting to think about school critically. So, Kristen's child is asking, 7-year-old is asking to go back or to go to public school. Often the grass is greener. We see our friends out on the playground and we see, or out on the street and, or them at school while we're driving by, and we think that looks really cool. But the truth is, a 7-year-old does not really know what's going on in the schools, right? You do. So I would start having really great conversations regarding why you've chosen this. I also, that are age appropriate. I also would start putting in your language when you do something, which you're doing on a daily basis, something really cool that only homeschoolers really get to do. Like when they ask you a question, they don't have to raise their hand, or they can go to the bathroom whenever they want, or we can go on field trips whenever we want. We can take days off when we feel like it. We can go on vacation, take 2 weeks off and come back, and we don't have loads and loads of makeup work, right? So I would start thinking in your day-to-day life what you're doing in your normal homeschooling that children in public school would never get to experience or get to do, because this is what I think is really important. Your child's 7, so your child doesn't actually understand the differences between public school and homeschool, right? So you can point those out. And it's a different story if your child like had been in the public schools, was out, wants to go back, and is a 9th grader. This would be a different conversation than the one I'm having with you now. So just every day being in a place of thankfulness and gratitude verbally with your child about what a amazing life this is. Like, did you know that you get to pick the books that you read? In school, kids don't get to pick the books they read. Did you know that like all these things, and just starting with those conversations at that age is a really great way to just show your child how blessed they are. Yeah. Okay, that's just a start. It's the best I can do on a live. Yeah.
Over on Instagram, MJML, I have 4 kids ages 7 and under.
Okay.
7-year-old loves to read and is very advanced, except in spelling. Younger 3 are very demanding. How to balance all the needs? I'm overwhelmed.
Yes, and okay, 7 and under, and then so I would, with the 7-year-old, I would start, if you haven't already, to get that 7-year-old as independent as possible in the schoolwork. As independent as possible. And then this is the other thing I just want you to know, is that where you are in your homeschooling phase is I think it's some of the hardest years to homeschool, when you have babies and toddlers who can't clean up after themselves yet, and they're constantly looking to you. Maybe you're even breastfeeding, and so you're doing that and all these things. I think those are the hardest years to homeschool, quite frankly. So I also want you to know that it is a season and you will emerge from it. Because like, I could not believe it. I woke up one day and I was like, all my kids can read, and they're all sitting here doing their work, and they don't need me right now. And I was like, what do I do? Anyway, I went on TikTok is what I did. But anyway, so that is your future, especially when you start to look for ways to get your older kids, like that 7-year-old right now, as independent as possible. And also, I want to make sure you're not doing too much work with the younger ones. So you probably have do you have like a 7-year-old and a 5, like a 2nd grader and a kindergartner, right? Like, make sure that kindergartner's not doing a lot of work, right? An hour a day. That kindergartner, you might want to enroll in something like, this woman should pay me because I talk about logic of English all the time. But Denise Ide does video lessons. So that could free you up with your 5-year-old, teaching your 5-year-old to read, where you can maybe like sit, breastfeed a baby while you're watching this woman teach, like an expert in the field, teach your child how to read, right? So there's things that you can do like that would help free you up. And then, of course, I don't know your parenting style either. So parenting style has a lot to do with how overwhelmed we can get. So I want to make sure that also, which I'm sure you already are, but having those healthy boundaries with your children, and in a loving way, of course. You guys know me. I honor children as persons. Children are human beings that need to be honored, but they also need to be raised. And they need boundaries too. Okay, that was a long answer. Sorry. You guys aren't asking me anything controversial tonight.
VapTG, where to start if we want to start homeschooling? We have a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 6-year-old. Curriculum ideas?
Okay. Where to start when you want to start homeschooling? 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 6-year-old. The first thing I would do is grab my free guide. It's 26 pages and it's free. Start there because it walks you through what to do. And then email me when you've gone through it, and then we'll start a conversation. Okay. If you guys are curious about my group and what is in the group, how my group works, why it's designed to transform you from maybe feeling alone or having self-doubt to being just a strong, confident homeschooler, ask right now. I'm here. I'm on this live, so go ahead and ask those questions. If you've been on the fence about joining, tonight's a great night because you're in a window right now where you can get last month's supplement and this month's supplement both for free. So that almost, I haven't done the math exactly, but it probably pays for your first month's membership. So tonight's a great night if you've been on the fence, and ask me more questions here tonight. It's an amazing, you can DM me. We're on office hours where you can ask me questions. We do workshops every month where we talk about really great things like how to pick curriculum, how to not get overwhelmed when we're buying curriculum, finding our why. If you guys are anybody from my group in here, just go ahead and you can answer questions for me too, because I feel like you guys know the group really well. Okay.
Okay, Tina Marie has had a lot of questions.
Okay, Tina, we're here. You and me, girl. Are you on TikTok?
She's on TikTok.
All right, Tina, let's go, girl.
Having a hard time. Okay, I only have all boys, private school around me. Private school doesn't know how to handle homeschool transcripts. It's been a challenge.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Homeschool K-8 is easier, but high school is so hard.
How old are her kids?
I don't know, but some in high school, I guess.
Okay. Okay, what's her question?
She has one 9th grader. Had to stop homeschooling because the 9th grader was bored at home. I hate private school.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
Have you tried like some of those online academies for your 9th grader? Those live classes, co-ops? Get on Facebook and try to find other homeschoolers of high schoolers in your area to try to get in. You've probably done all this stuff too. So, yeah.
If it's private school, it's probably an IC or an SSAT.
Yeah. No, what about was she asking about the ISEE?
Yeah, because they didn't know how to handle the transcripts. Because I guess he's transferring from...
Yeah, that's...
The school doesn't know what they're doing.
The school doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay. How to catch up on school.
And they could be breaking laws. I would contact HSLDA because homeschoolers have rights. Believe it or not, we do have rights. So if a school is denying you because they can't understand a homeschooler's transcripts, I would contact HSLDA because that's a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Sarai, how to catch up on school. Did unschooling for a year, but my daughter wants to catch up with her grade, which is 4th grade. She's almost 3rd grade level and getting bored.
Okay. What's your name?
Sarai.
Sarai, I would focus on math. How old is she?
4th grade.
4th grade. Math, reading.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's 3rd or 4th.
Okay. Math, reading fluency, and reading comprehension. I would focus on just those because when those are up to speed and in place, that's really what reading history is. Right? It's reading comprehension. It's really what a lot of what science that young is. We're not in physics yet, okay? So it's still just reading comprehension. Of course, that's what literature is. So to get your child caught up, I really only think that kids can be behind in those areas, right? So anyway, that's what I would focus on. And I would look at a program like CTC Math. Are they? Yeah. I was going to ask you something about CTC Math, Scott, but I think I answered my own question in my head. Because CTC Math, when you go in there, you can figure out exactly where her gaps are. And then you can teach lessons just to those gaps. It's way cheaper than tutoring. So, yeah.
Yeah, Tina was saying, yeah, they need boys and girls in the socialization for high school. Other moms are saying, yes, I'm not looking forward to high school homeschool.
Yeah.
But
I think homeschooling high school is one of the best times to homeschool. You know, by that time, a lot of us are outsourcing a lot of our classes, right? So either our kids are like enrolled in a class at a local private school or maybe even a public school if your state allows that. And then in some online classes or taking some distance learning classes or doing dual enrollment, your homeschool kid can graduate high school with their associate's degree. So, and not only that, but you can really, you know, have them for those last few years and really connect and bond. It depends on where you live and what other high schoolers that you can find to be in community with, what extracurriculars your child has that can be so they have a social connection. But it can be, yeah. So homeschool moms, we're not teaching the high school curriculum. I don't know any homeschooler high school moms besides ones who have like a degree. Like I have a friend who is a biology professor. So yeah, she teaches her kids science, right? So I have an MA in history. I can teach my kids AP history. But most of us are by those grades. The kids are really independent with their learning and enrolling in all sorts of different classes at different places or doing dual enrollment. And you can graduate with an AA. So, and colleges are recruiting homeschoolers now. Homeschoolers complete college at a higher rate than non-homeschoolers. So I know it sounds super scary and intimidating, but it's definitely doable. Yeah.
Carrie says, I struggle with how long to teach. I have
Mm-hmm.
a first grader and a third grader. My state has
Yes.
no regulations on this.
I agree with Charlotte Mason. Lessons should be, at that age, lessons should be no more than 15 minutes per subject. Absolutely. And in my free guide that's 26 pages, I have like a chart in there for by their age how many hours per day on average you should be homeschooling. So go grab it's not I know I'm telling you to get my how to homeschool guide, but that graph is in there, so it's worth getting.
Proverbs 31 wife. Any advice for struggling writers, spellers, upper elementary, and middle schoolers?
Struggling writers and spellers for upper elementary and middle schoolers.
Yeah.
I would look into Logic of English, and I would look into Barton. Those two, and someone can write those. Yeah, without knowing anything, but that's what I would recommend.
What's your YouTube channel?
Isn't it Christy-Faith Homeschool or something?
Yeah, you Google that.
Yeah. I think it's Christy-Faith Homeschool. I know that's what I am on Instagram. I'm Christy-Faith everywhere. It's just, is there a homeschool after it or not? So if you just do Christy-Faith, you'll find me places.
And we should wrap pretty
Okay.
soon.
Time flies, man. I love being here with you guys.
Michelle was so sweet. She said, we consulted with you and pulled him that day. He started drawing a day later. He had stopped drawing.
Yes.
He didn't want to stop for a week. He was able to raise enough money with his art to go to Universal Studios and meet the Grinch.
Are you kidding me?
His dream.
That's incredible. Did you guys hear that story?
I thank God for you. And
Oh.
also thank you to your husband and children for supporting you to be on this educational calling.
Oh, that's Michelle again. Michelle, I want to cry. They do support me. Yeah, they do. And it's really, I got to say, it's a little bit hard right now with my book. I'm trying not to cry with my book transcript due. There's been a lot of conversations with the kids about, yeah, it's just on top of everything. So thank you. I needed that today, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Sadie over on YouTube, and we'll wrap soon. Any advice for a child that can read at a much older level than their age? My child is 6'7",
Yeah.
but reads near 5th grade level. Seems
Yes.
like a lot of books that age have more mature themes.
Yeah, so I would just stick with the classics. I would go to like the classical reading lists. I agree with you. A lot of the newer books, the more recent ones, are not going to be appropriate. This is a problem when your kid starts reading well above their grade level. Yes. So, but you're pretty safe with the classics.
You got a book list on your Amazon store.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a book list on my Amazon store too.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody asked best way to teach a first grader to read.
Yeah, best way to teach a first grader to read is any Orton Gillingham based program. Oh yeah, and the one that I forgot to mention earlier was all about reading. So like Logic of English, all about reading, Rooted in Language, which is called, their program's called Pinwheels, Barton, Linnemood Bell. Yeah, an Orton Gillingham based program. And I wouldn't mess with anything else. Just don't bother.
Great.
Yeah, great to see you guys. I'm so sorry I couldn't get to every question. I think I'm scheduled to go live on Tuesday night too, so I'll see you then. And if your question didn't get answered tonight on Tuesday, put in the comments, my question didn't get answered. Please answer my question, Christy, and we'll try to get to it, okay? I love you guys. It was so good to be with you tonight. And I came on here to encourage you, but you know what? I feel encouraged. Tonight. Thank you so much. So, all right. I'm going to finish my night with a lot of gratitude for you guys. All right. Love you. Mwah.